Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here from Dallas Trading Floor. Well, the stock market rallied today. Oils and EVs are doing well. Tesla's up. I also have a good analysis of OAS, Oasis Petroleum. I'll be seeing you at 4 o'clock on Dallas Trading Floor. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com and scroll on down, and you will see the live feed on YouTube. We're also on TikTok as well. So see you at 4 Central. Hello, everybody. Jim Malone here, coming to you live on Dallas Trading Floor. I hope everyone is doing well out there. It is Tuesday, kind of overcast here in Dallas. A little bit chilly for us. We're kind of far south, and yeah, pretty chilly. So let's get into some of the slides here. Basically, what happened is the stock market rallied today on the words of Chairman Powell. Apparently, it is looking good in that area. So EVs definitely rallied. We saw good rallies in some of the oil stocks, and in Tesla. Of course, I'm sort of a Tesla bull, so that's a good thing. That's why we have a little bull on here, just to see. The market is still under pressure, and what that means is, when the market is under pressure, we want to be kind of more into cash and, not totally 100% exposed to the market. I'm about 55% exposed to the market. The rest is cash. I'm also looking for some trades that could take advantage of some of the weakness in some of the stocks. We have we've had several bear trades that seem to be working pretty good. Even though the market is under pressure, it's kind of a tough market. It's very volatile right now. Some of the trades in the options field that work the best are these iron condors, and I definitely have an iron condor that I want to show you on Tesla just in a second that we put on here. Here are the major indices as they stand right now. As you can see, the Dow is up. So is the S&P and the NASDAQ. So they're all up. It's noticed, interestingly enough, the NASDAQ, more than any of the other ones, is up the most. So kind of interesting how that works. The NASDAQ kind of is sort of, it tends to be the leader for the growth stock. So it's been down for a few days. So that's kind of why I believe that it's moving a little bit faster than the other ones. I'm going to show you. Take a look at the Nasdaq 100. This is basically what the QQQ. That's a stock that covers it. But that's what the QQQ covers. So here basically is what the Nasdaq 100 is looking like. As you can see, we pulled almost down to the 200-day moving average here. We jumped up. As you can see, this very big blue bar here. Lots of volume. By the way, this is an exponential chart down here for the volume. So if it pops above that, that means that's an awful lot of volume. Just kind of want to show you the 10 market minute chart. We started out the day strong, then it fell off, and then we recovered towards the end of the day. So that's kind of been the story. That's why I've been waiting longer for my buys than I normally do, because it's just kind of that way. Basically, I want to show you Tesla. Tesla's looking pretty darn good. Of course, it's got a composite rating of 99. It did move back up above that very key $1,000 level. I do believe there's a psychological there's sort of a psychological resistance right about 1,000. It pulled back lower than that, and then it pulled up. But let's take a look at this real quickly at the chart here. I could get it up hopefully for you. Here we go. Let's try that. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'm basically taking off some of the notations that I make on. This is the actual live chart. Let's take a look at the 10-minute. See how it kind of traded. Very interesting. This had this big gap up at the beginning. It had this kind of just total movement up here. It just seems like Tesla seems to be doing very well. And this is a nice movement up with a nice, at the very end of the day, we had a very nice, some nice volume come in there. So it seems like Tesla is sort of, it's odd. It's sort of in this sort of range between, about 980 on the low side, on up to, on up to about 1280. Another one stock I want to show you here is Oasis Petroleum. OIS is the symbol for this one. This has been, I bought this one several days ago, and it's been doing pretty well. I mean, as you can see, we have a pretty much nice chart as it moves up above. It's got a 97 relative strength. This is a very strong stock in that, basically, if it has 97, a composite rating of 97, that means it's in the top 3% of all the stocks right now. So this is one you might want to consider. We had a nice movement on this one from, on up about 4% today. You see, go back here to show you where my buys were on this one. I think you can see it. I did buy right as it crossed above that 21-day moving average. That's the little green line here, and I made a follow-on buy. So my first buy on this one, 129.28. Then I made a little bit of a high buy here, not the best, 137.25, but we closed out the day at 136, so it's looking pretty good. And I do think we're going to clear this little bit of higher high. One of the things you're always looking for when you're buying a stock in a good thing is the technicals. You don't want to buy too far above that 10-day line, but right now OAS is trading about 3% above, 3.58% above that 10-day line. Typically, you don't want to buy any more than about 5% above that. I think that buy should work fairly well, hopefully. Let's take a look at the pattern rec. Basically, we're up 38% in 75 days on this with a cup with handle formation. So it's looking pretty darn good. This is in the U.S. oil and gas exploration and production. These are the companies that actually drill for oil, and they're based in the U.S. Primarily, this is in the Permian Basin and those kind of areas. So not a bad area to be in. There's some international drillers also that are starting to come on, which is making things look very nice. So just kind of want to show you how my portfolio is allocated right now, so you can get kind of an idea on it. I have this thing called the small portfolio. And the way that works is these are the things that I do have. These are my short-term trades. Basically, right now I'm LPL Financial. I'm up 3% on that one in 5 days. Pretty good. Dell Computer, we're in there. At about 7 days, we're up 3.47. Cheniere Energy. This is the LNG carrier company. You might be interested in this one. This is the company that ships LNG, hopefully to Europe. They have two natural gas trains, one being in Sabine Pass, Louisiana, and the other one in beautiful Corpus Christi. And they liquefy the natural gas, and then they put it on ships, and they sail it over, hopefully to Hamburg or places like that, Rotterdam, that accepts those. So if they're, and this is an alternative to that very expensive and very unreliable natural gas that comes from Russia. This comes from Texas here. So the name of this company, Cheniere, the symbol on it is LNG. I guess that's a good symbol for it. This is I'm up a little bit on this, off a little bit on Tesla because I did buy it a little bit high. We are recovering a bit on that. My average buy price on Tesla, about 1084. Currently, we closed at about, on Tesla, we closed a little bit up, about 1060 on there. So pretty decent. This is our stock of the day. Interestingly enough, this is in one of the oldest sectors of the market. It's amazing. It's a company called Arch, and what it does is they make coal. I mean, they don't make it, they mine it. And right now with many of the natural gas, with the shortage of natural gas and other things like that, the demand for coal, it seems like it's gone up, especially from China and some other places. This one might be interesting. I'm not in this one. It's Arch. It does have a composite rating of 85, which is very good. 85 being, a pretty top rating, a pretty top rating. But again, it's Arch Coal. You might want to take a gander at that one. This is Bitcoin. We did have a little bit of a recovery in Bitcoin. It's up to 42,697 when this slide was taken. We did have a sort of a test at about 40,000 to 1, And so it does appear that Bitcoin is recovering a little bit. It's up strongly today, about 2%. It does appear that, with these interest rates hikes and central bank interventions, it seems like, there's a lot of manipulation of Bitcoin. I am not a buyer of Bitcoin. I'm waiting for possibly a pullback to about the $30,000 level. When that happens, I might be a buyer. Here's currently what I'm owning. I do have Invitation Homes. That's up today a little bit, just a tad. It's up 1%. This is a company that owns 10,000 homes, basically in the United States. And what they do is they're pretty much new homes that they rent out. And it's one of the largest home renting companies out there called Invitation Homes. Of course, we talked about a little bit Cheniere. This is one's up about 2.26%. Price is about at 110. I do like this one, even though the volume is down. I do like this particular issue a lot because I do think that there is a great demand for liquefied natural gas. There's not a lot of companies. There's not a lot of places that can supply it. This is one of them, Cheniere, and they just came online. They just came online with their Sabine Pass, Louisiana facility and their Corpus Christi, Texas facility. Dell, of course, it's up. That's another little Texas company. They're down in Austin, doing pretty well. A lot of people seem to be working from home, and that really seems to be an impetus to buy more stuff from Dell. So they typically doing well as well. Tesla, of course, we talked a little bit about that. It actually closed basically by the time I took this slide at 1063. Very volatile on this one. Of course, we talked about Oasis Petroleum, and unfortunately, the one I bought yesterday, Murphy. This is a convenience store. This is sort of like a gasoline, like a Tesco, like you would see in the UK, or basically it's a convenience store with a gas station attached to it. Down a little bit, but I still really like this area of convenience store, and the symbol on that one's MUSA. All right, I want to kind of show you a iron condor that I have currently on Tesla. And if you're a member of the Discord room, I've been talking about this one a little bit and trying to put it out there for everyone. By the way, you can find out more about the trade by going to the http bit.ly/DTF0029. That just kind of links to the deck on this one. We did have a little bit of a price improvement on Tesla, and so on the iron condor, it kind of comes into this bullseye, and I think it's looking fairly good. We'll see how it trades, but this is a spread trade that I think does very well in volatility. So that could be kind of a good thing for your tool belt there. Also, I have this bear trade on Viva Systems, and of course, Viva Systems has been going down, as you can see. And as this goes down, the value of this trade goes up. This is a bear put spread, and we got into this one for March 18th, 2022 expiry. Hopefully, as this moves either sideways or down, this will become more valuable. So Viva Systems looking fairly good on that trade as well. Now on the metaverse, we did have an issue on this one. This is not a bear trade. This is a bull trade. I'm bullish, slightly bullish on Facebook, which is now called Metaverse Networks. I think that's what it's called. And they moved up slightly, but we're in the red zone here. We do have a fair amount of time on this one, so I may be adjusting this trade, but this one definitely could be a good one. If you want to find out more about this trade, there's a deck. Again, just go to bit.ly/DTF0020. That's the link to that. All right, and of course we talked a little bit about the one on Shopify. Shopify it bumped up a little bit today. So we started out the trade kind of in the white zone. It popped up a little bit. We'll see what happens with Shopify. This is a bear trade. I do expect it to go lower. Of course, I will be adjusting it if it doesn't, but we do expect Shopify to move lower. So those are kind of the four trades that we have currently open. By the way, if you're interested, you can definitely get a look at our watch list. This is how we construct a lot of our trades here at Dallas Trading Floor. And it's also available. Just go to bit.ly/DTF0025. That's kind of the thing there. If you want to get any of the old episodes, obviously, of Dallas Trading Floor, just go to youtube.com/Dallas Trading Floor. So thank you very much. All right, let's get into some of the questions. Thank you very much for holding on here. By the way, if you're looking on TikTok, I can't show the charts on TikTok, but I definitely can show them on YouTube. So if you want to get all the charts and everything, just go to this address. Just go to the address that I'm pointing to right now, and that is right there. And it'll jump you right over to the YouTube feed, and from there you can definitely see what's going on. All right, thank you very much. Let's look at Lucid. Now, Lucid's an interesting company because they have a very high end. I haven't been in this issue, but I think that it definitely has a future. I really do, because it's LCID. The reason I think this has a future is because I do believe Tesla is going to dominate the market primarily for the Tesla's going to dominate the market for basically the mid and the upper mid. As a matter of fact, they're actually selling in the United States. This is incredible. They're actually selling more machines than BMW or Mercedes combined. Can you believe it? But Lucid is a super luxury brand, and that is very good. I think that definitely has a future. What's happened with Lucid? We were all the way up here at 57. We got some support. We finally got some support about the 38.80 level. It's got a relative strength of 99, which is incredible. So that makes it in the top 1% of all the stocks right now. But you don't want to buy this stock right now. And the reason that you don't want to buy this stock, I want to kind of show you this, is because it is very extended, 14.19% above that 14% was above that little pink line. That's the 10-day line. You typically want, if you're buying something as it's reversing higher, you don't typically want to buy any more than about 5% above that line. So right now, good stock, but I wouldn't be a buyer of this right now just because it is extended. So that's the main that's the main thing right now. Lucid is not a buy right now. LCID is extended. And what do you mean by extended? Well, here's what I mean by extended. If the correct buy point for this was here at 1839, and that was basically on basically a cup with handle formation. That's a very good formation, but it moved up from there, and now it's giving back a lot. It moved all the way up to 57. And then now it's giving it all the way back. This is why I recommend, when you're buying properly below that pivot, you come in early, you go through the pivot, and then you don't buy any more than 5% above that pivot. Once you're there, you kind of stop and you just wait, and you just push your stop loss up. And so if you do get a pullback like this, you're going to make some of the profit. So here's the thing with Lucid. On the checklist, it's not quite as strong as I'd like it to be. 67%, and it does not, unfortunately, have on the pattern recognition, it's up 60% from the pivot being 29.38. So this really isn't viable at this time. This is definitely a watch list stock, but currently it is just not viable. So watch list the stock, because we may have a better opportunity to buy it, but right now it's not set up where we can buy this one. So be really careful on Lucid. Good stock, just needs a little bit more time, and it should be good. I mean, it should be good. I do like the stock. I just don't like the position that it's in right now in the market. All right, let's look at two things. These are both really good stocks, by the way. Thank you, Sadish. Thank you so much for bringing this up. Let's look at Ford. Ford is one of the two that I really like, of course. The other one being Tesla in the automotive group. And the automotive group has been doing pretty good. And so this is kind of a look-see on the automotive group with Ford. So what happened was we did have this breakout 1645, and you can see I did add a position right as it moved to the 5% above this cup formation. Now, I did sell when I got to a 20% profit. I typically will take profits if I'm up more than 20%. I will take profits. I did take profits on this case. Now we have a flag formation that's come in here, and that's right here. Let's kind of put that up there. Now, why is the flag important, and why am I looking at it? Now, it pulled right up, but all of a sudden there seems to be resistance at about 25. So this Ford probably will break out higher, but we really have to wait, unfortunately, until it breaks above 25, because we want to buy a stock as it's moving higher. So let's kind of look at the 10-minute chart to see kind of what's going on here. Well, as you can see, this is the 25 that we're talking about here. There is pressure right here at 25. This is a ceiling. So if we're looking at Ford here, well, one thing that we're going to definitely know is that if it can get beyond that level, then it's probably going higher. So here's the thing: I would wait on this one, but it's looking good. If you're in this, don't get out. If you're in this one, don't get out. It's 48% above the pivot, which is 57 days ago. So it's looking pretty good. Let's look at the technicals. This is just slightly extended. I mean, ever so slightly. The 10-day line, this is kind of the line that you want to buy off of, is right now the stock is 6.5% above the 10-day line. You could actually argue that you could buy it here. I like to buy it within 5% of this line. There's just a lot of reasons for that. I don't have time to go into all of them, but that's a good thing to do. But here's the thing: I kind of want to wait. I'm a waiter on this one. I do think it's probably going higher, but it needs to push through 25. So unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, because I think people want to know what's viable right now on what's viable right now. But right now, this is, Ford needs to move above 25 to be viable. So really, that's kind of the important thing here. We need to see it move above that 25, and then I think we can buy it. So right now, it's sort of a watch list. We've got it. We're sort of watch list on this one here. But good stock, just not the time to buy it. Again, it's the funny thing about the stock market and being a trader is actually most of the time you're going to be waiting. And so it's the analogy is if you've ever hunted geese, which I did many years ago. I don't really do it here because there's not that many in Texas, but in Maryland where I did it, you would wait a lot. You would wait around a lot for the right conditions, and then when the right conditions were happening, you put your gun up there and hopefully shot, and it rang true, and it was a true shot, and then you're in good. But so most of the time you're going to be waiting for things to happen. Let's look at Builders First Source. This is a really good stock too, BLDF. And during the COVID, this is done fairly well. Builders First Source, BLDR, put that up. There we go. Builders First Source, perfect. So this one, I definitely like Builders First Source a lot. In that it is just kind of moving right up this. It's really moving right up the 21-day line. Now it did test the 21-day line. What do I mean by a test? Well, what happens in a test is that it's going in one direction, and then it pulls back, and then it finds support, and it continues its movement up. Now, to find a test on the 21-day line, this does look like it's going to reverse, and it's going to continue to reverse higher. The relative strength on Builders First Source is very, very good. It's 98. So this is in the top 2% of all the stocks out there. Let's look at the checklist. This one has 100% checklist, meaning that, this is the kind of stock that you want to be looking to buy right now. It's being accumulated by many of the funds. It's basically near its all-time high, and things are looking pretty good on. Now, the question is, can we buy at this level? And we can see if we look at the technicals, that's where we can possibly buy. And we probably can buy here. Why? Because we're within 2%, we're within 5% of that 10-day line that I was talking to you about. That 10-day moving average, very, very important. It's pulled below that 10-day line, but it looks as if the action is going to push it above the 10-day line. If you notice here, you can see how an ascending stock will stay above that 10-day line, most likely. Sometimes it will test down here. It did. This is what they call a flag. This is what they call an island reversal. Believe it or not, kind of weird thing. It did have this one island reversal, but by and large, up until 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 days ago, it was basically above the 10-day line. I do believe it's going to retake that 10-day line. So this is not necessarily a bad place to get in. Very strong checklist. Normally we would wait for a base to happen. That's the cup with handle here. The last base was at 52.72, but we've moved beyond that. I do think you could possibly move into it. This is a reversal, and it looks pretty good. Let's look at the 10-minute chart to kind of see how it's trading today. Yeah, it seems like it tested right here, basically just about 76.50, and now it's gotten some support and it's moving higher. So I do think this one definitely can be bought right now. So this one, Builder's First Source, I think is looking pretty good. So BLDF is buyable right now. So I think it's looking pretty good. I think it is buyable at this level, and if you did buy it at this level, I think that hopefully when you're buying like this, when you're buying like this, remember, nothing is guaranteed, obviously. So you want to be careful. You want to be careful to put your stop loss in. If you were to buy this today, I would put my stop loss right here, basically at this 40-day line. So let's kind of look to see where that is. And on the technicals, you see the 50-day line is right at 74.43. So that's probably almost exactly where you would want to put your stop loss initially. If you were to buy it here, you would probably want to put your stop loss right at this line, which is the 40. This is the 50-day line. As you can see, it's only pulled back once to that level, and that was way back at the end of September. So very good. So Builder's First Source is absolutely viable right now. Good stock. It's come up on my radar a lot. So very good stock, and something definitely worth looking at. Tell a lot of people I'm waiting on TikTok. I'm trying to get to everyone here. Oops, wait a minute. The Fed is Wall Street. Well, that's probably true, actually. I'm just looking here to see. I don't have yet the capability of doing texting, which I'm looking into, which I am looking into for this. Hopefully, I'll have this technical thing taken care of so I can get these better. These ones better. Are you bullish on TM? Oh, TM, Toyota Motors, I think. Yeah, TM. Okay, let's look at TM. Of course, that's Toyota, and let's see how bullish or non-bullish we are. I always try to check the chart because I can't remember all the symbols, obviously, but I try to look at the chart to see. Well, the chart for Toyota looks pretty decent, actually. Right now, the automotive group has been doing well. I mean, it's the fourth best group right now in the market, 4 out of 197. So definitely the capital is flowing there. Let's look at this. We've got earnings happening in about 30 days, 29 days to be exact. We did have this prior flat base pivot at 185. Currently, we're at 202, and we're above the buy range. So if I were looking at this, again, it seems like we have some resistance right here at 200. And I do like Toyota. I like the cars. And we are with 10 days from the 10-day line, which is good. The checklist is quite good as well. But I think that there's better merchandise out there. I definitely think that, what's driving the market, at least for now in this area, is Tesla. Let's look at the different. What I'm doing here is that we're looking at basically the sectors in the economy to see kind of where the capital is flowing. And obviously, that's a very, very important thing. So I'm looking on industry group rankings. There's 197 industry groups. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the top 40. That's one of the ones I want to look at. Right now, automobile manufacturers is number 4. So let's kind of take a look at that. And we did have a pullback, but it looks like we're gaining some strength. This is really, I believe, the strength that we're seeing in Tesla. So right now, Toyota's at its all-time high. Ford 2.4% below. Tata Motors, believe it or not, that's the Indian company, very, very good company, 3.5% down, and so forth. But let's look at the stocks, and this is an important thing, by valuation, by capitalization. Right now, the most valuable stock. Oops. Let's go. If we see if we can go back there. Yeah, the most valuable stock currently in the automotive group is Tesla by a country mile. It is 3 times, in terms of capitalization, larger than Toyota Motor. It's about $1 trillion. Can you believe that? Now, here's the thing. I think, and I kind of wanted to say this. Very rarely do I think that there's a stock that really can change a lot of things. I do believe that is the case with Tesla. Right now, Apple Computer is the most valuable company in the world by market capitalization. It's worth about $3 trillion. Tesla is worth about $1 trillion, which is absolutely amazing. But I do believe that in 5 years, these positions are going to be reversed. I believe if you believe this, then Apple will be worth about $3 trillion, or maybe $4 trillion. But Tesla is likely to be worth, and this is drum roll, please. I think it's going to be worth maybe as much as $10 to $15 trillion. And why do I say that? Because the change in the EV market, the change in what people are buying. Right now, Tesla has a complete lock on the EV market, at least in the United States. 75% of all the vehicles right now that are EVs that are being sold in the U.S. are Teslas. They also have sold out their entire production until about September. So everything that they're making is profitable. They don't have a dealer network, and the gross profit on every unit that they're putting out there, and I just kind of reiterate this, is about 20%. Whereas General Motors and BMW and Mercedes and all, they make less than 2% on their units. So I think Tesla has a very good future. But part of the reason why you're seeing action in this group is not because it's not because the spoils are shared equally. Many of the best stocks, Tesla and is taking the lion's share of that. So anyways, let's take a look at Apple. I was talking about Apple, so let's talk about Apple. I was going to do a bear spread, believe it or not, on Apple, because I do think that Apple is probably going to come down a little bit. It has been kind of, it's kind of tested here. It's still, it's still, of course, one of the truly great companies in the world. I'm not saying that it isn't, but basically the last pivot on this was a cup with handle back about 50 days ago, and it was a third stage cup with handle. Very, not as powerful. Typically, the lower the stage, the better it's going to be, but it moved up very nicely from there. Now it's come back. It's tested the 21-day line, and the question is, has it reversed? I don't think it necessarily has. I think that what you have to do to see if Apple it's a good time to get back into Apple is draw a trend line from the top, the peak there, to the intermediate peak, and I think we have to put that in there as as an alert. Okay, so let's see if I can get that on. Yeah, set the alert. All right, so hopefully it will allow me to do that. There we go. All right, so basically, here is the reversal line. It basically, what's got to happen for Apple, I want to see it move above that 182.13, and right now we're not there. We're at 175. So what do I think about Apple? Well, I think if you're in it, just stay in it because it's a great stock. But if you're going to buy it, I would wait. I would wait until it makes a new higher high. So here's the thing: if you're in the stock, no problem. But I wouldn't enter until we have more of a base pattern. So basically what I would have to say about Apple right now. It's a great stock if you're in it, no problem, but it's not a good time to enter it right now. So, not a great time to enter the stock. Wait until it closes above this 182, this 182.213. So that's really where you want to see it close above that, and that probably will work the best for you. So let's put that up. Okay, so that's kind of the thing. You really want to be, if it moves above this, that's where you want to start getting into it, right there. But right now, it's just a watch list stock. So that's the way that is. Okay, so let's take another look at TikTok. Thank you for tuning in on TikTok. Oops. The Fed is Wall Street. Well, it probably is. They are definitely manipulating things, that's for sure. Let's look at CEL. What's happened to the host? Hopefully I'm still here. More likes. More likes attracting more answers. Okay. Obviously, great. Okay, so let's look at this one. This is a question from TikTok. By the way, if you want to get ask a question directly, super easy to do. Just go to this address. There you go. This address, and just type in this address, bit.ly/DTF458, and it'll take you directly to the YouTube feed that we're doing right now. And that is a great way to do it for that. Okay, let's look at TSMC. Of course, this is Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. And I also want to look at an alternative stock other than just TSM. So let's pull up TSM, the chart for TSM. And this one has been a favorite of a lot of the stock pickers. It's a strong stock. 50%, something like 30 to 50% of many of the most advanced chips are made by TSM. TSM, of course, is based in Taiwan, Taipei, but they're moving a lot of their production to the United States for political reasons. So that's one of the things. I do have an issue with TSM based on the politics. China is very interested in acquiring the secrets of this company. It's a very interesting company. There was a buy point on a cup with handle at 135.50. So the question is, and it's pulled back a little bit. The question is, can we buy it? Well, the checklist is looking pretty good. It's a 78 checklist, which is good. Now let's look on the technicals to see. We're only 2% above the 10-day line. So that's not necessarily a bad place to be looking to buy this. The question is, do we want to buy this? Well, I have a reversal line here that I'm going to reactivate. It is moving. It has moved from a downtrend to an uptrend. And we seem to have the lines looking very good. We've got the 200-day line, 50, the 21-day, and the 10. They're all lined up properly. That's auspicious, meaning that it's probably going to go higher. Also, if you look at the volume is coming down. That means fewer people are willing to sell. Here's my advice on TSM. I think you want to wait I think you want to wait for I think you want to wait for earnings. So wait for earnings for TSM in order to buy. And that's really kind of the thing. I think you got to wait on this one. You gotta wait for the earnings. Oops. You gotta wait for the earnings. Earnings for Taiwan Semi is on the 13th. So basically 2 days away. So it's Tuesday today. They're going to be announcing after the bell on Thursday. Now let's take a look at some of the fundamental analysis on Taiwan Semi. And this is always fun for me to do this, because when you're buying a stock, you want to look at two very important things. You want to look at both the technical, which I'm doing with the charts, that's the technical analysis, but you also want to look at the fundamental analysis. The fundamental analysis is what everyone teaches you in school. Now, the problem with that, of course, is that if you just use fundamental analysis alone, you're probably going to be very poor, because typically stocks are bought on fundamental analysis and on technical analysis. So when I'm buying a stock, I'm looking at the fundamentals. I'm also looking at the technicals. Now, but when I'm selling a stock, I'm almost always selling the technicals if there's a problem there. So here's the thing that we're looking at TSM. Any stock that can improve its sales 20% quarter over quarter is a stock you should be very interested in, because there's not that many of those. Right now, TSM has been improving its sales basically over 20%. Look at this. For 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 quarters, so at least 2 years. That's amazing. Their profits, they've been plowing a lot, though, back into the R&D, because you would think that their profits would be going up faster than their sales, but they're not. And the reason that they're not is because they're plowing so much back into plant and equipment. So this company does, TSM. Moved over to the wrong chart there. This company does spend an awful lot of money on its R&D. I mean, it's absolutely an R&D leader. 8.5% of their entire sales go to R&D. They have pretty good debt, not too bad, 14%. Their cash flow is strong. The return on equity, excellent, 30%, and their P/E ratio is about 32. There is a stock, though, I would like to kind of point out to you. It's a newer stock, and I don't know if it's really a peer to Taiwan Semi, but it's a company called GFS, and what it is it's the foundry portion of it. Was AMD used to have a foundry, and what happened was that it was bought out by private equity, and now it is becoming a potential competitor to Taiwan Semi, in that they do manufacture many of the same products. Now, this is an interesting stock because it's essentially an IPO, but the thing about this IPO that's different is that most IPOs don't have a whole lot of sales. This one has sales, as you can see. We were up until the end of last year, up until the end of 2000, we were basically, we were basically, our sales were declining. Now, from March through September, the sales have been going up. It's 3%, 23%, 56%. You'll notice last quarter is when Global Foundries made its first profit. That is very good. Now, obviously, it says cash flow not NA. Well, that's going to change because they are going to be profitable. Now, their earnings are due on the 8th of February. Now, do I recommend this stock? Well, I think it's an interesting stock. I don't own this stock yet, but I do think it has some very good potential. There is a consolidation. It's a stage 1 consolidation with a pivot at 73.25. Now, the question is, can you buy it? Well, what I did is I created this this reversal line, and oops, I didn't quite get it right there. Let's see if it'll let me do that. Options. Okay, I'm going to reactivate this reversal line. Oops. Reactivate. There we go. So this is the reversal line that basically shows us when we're going to start to see a change of direction. Currently, we can't buy Global Foundries because it is below this reversal line, as you can see. But as it moves above that, about 65, that's where we might want to try to kind of possibly take a look at it, because it does have some very good characteristics. The relative strength is 95, and I do think that this could be a big winner in the future. Now, right now, it's below the 50-day line, it's below the 21-day line, it's below the 10-day line. So right now we can't buy it, but we're very close to, it is starting to change its direction, and it's pretty volatile. I think, if it can move up about 15% to the pivot, 73.25, that's where we want to kind of possibly take a look at it. So if you're looking at TSM, put this one on your radar screen as well. Global Foundries. It's not ready to buy yet, but it probably will be, and I do think it's going to be a major competitor for TSM. I do think that they are, and they don't have a lot of the political issues that TSM has. All right, thank you for Samuel. Let's look at VIV, and of course VIV is the one that we have that bear put spread on. So let's look at VIV first. And what happened was VIV, VEEV. Let's look at, and this is Viva Systems. Now we did have a dead cat bounce on VIV, and basically what the dead cat bounce is that when something is going down, well, it doesn't go down in a straight line. It will sort of bounce its way down, kind of like a slinky. It'll kind of go up and then go down, and go up and down and up and down, sort of like that. So what we're looking to find, of course, is a stock that is sort of headed in the wrong direction, and unfortunately Viva is. It has been a high flyer, as you can see. It was way up here, basically back here in August at 343. So it is headed on its way down. Now it did trend up today, so I'm not really worried about that. But we will see if it stays below that 10-day line. So that's the key. So let's take a look at the technicals here. We are still 3% below that 10-day line, and hopefully we're going to stay below that 10-day line, because if we stay below that 10-day line, the trend on this one is down, down, down. And if that indeed is the case, we're gonna see, we're gonna see more. Let's see if I can pull up the slide for this one on the spread that the spread trade that I have. So basically, this is oh no, that's Shopify. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so this is Viva Systems here, and basically, as the stock falls in price, now it's down to 240. This spread trade that we have on it, this will gain more in value. If you want to find out more about this, of course, just go to bit.ly/DTF022. Now, I do believe that with this chart, that the trend, the overall trend for this is down. Now, today it moved up, and it moved up about just a little bit, about 49 cents. I do think that what's going to happen is that more people now are going to sell. So this has a relative strength of 22, which is not very good. That means that 78% of the stocks in the market now are better than this one. So the checklist, it's still pretty good, but it's going down. What's happening here, and the reason this is a short, is because many of these big companies, many of these big funds, are basically looking for an exit, and they're looking to sell. And the question is, when are they going to sell? Now let's kind of look at who's in this one. Well, all of these are the mid-cap, these are A-plus funds, but here's what's happening in the market and why it's such a tricky market, and many of these funds are going to be unloading as interest rates go up. Interest rate sensitive stocks like Viva Systems are going to be very vulnerable. And right now, let's take a look at some of the fundamentals. Right now with this stock, I do think that a lot of what's happening is it's pushing up, and then people are then selling out. So the question is, how many funds are in it, and how's it been going? I mean, their profits have been excellent. Look at their sales; they've just been going gangbusters. But the problem, of course, is that I believe it was over. It just had too high of a PE ratio. It's 67 PE ratio. Right now, those kind of growth stocks are being punished. That is not a good thing. So we're still holding on to the number of funds. We still have an increasing number of funds by December. We still have a lot of people in it, but I do believe we're going to start to see some of those funds head for the exits based on this chart. Now, I do believe it's probably going to pull back down, probably to this consolidation at about 176. When it hits there, I think it'll turn back up. But right now, it's going to kind of let off a little steam. So that's my kind of take on Viva Systems. I do believe it's going lower in the short term, but of course it isn't there. It did go up today, but it's sort of a dead cat bounce. It's sort of bouncing as it bounces, that slinky kind of thing down the stairs. It's going to go up a little bit, but its primary direction is going to be downward. All right, let's look at MU. This is a great company too. This is Micron Technology, and this is a little bit different story on Micron. We've moved to convincingly above the 200-day moving average. Let's go to the daily chart. I want to show you this on the chart. We have essentially what they call the golden cross. And what this is this is when the 50-day line moves above the 200-day line. This is a very auspicious chart pattern because it says that it's going higher. Basically, that's one of the things it basically saying. It's saying that the acceleration to the upside is moving higher because basically that will tell us that. Now there is a buy point on this one at 89.05, and we're right at a very good place to buy Micron. Micron is within 5% of the buy point. That is a very good place to buy it. Let's take a look at the checklist on this. I think it's excellent. As you can see, Micron has a 100% checklist, which makes it a very, very, very good stock to buy. This is a good place to enter it. Let's look at the technicals on it. We're just slightly below the 10-day line. We're almost right at the 10-day line. This is a very good place to buy it if we're not buying it directly off a pivot. This is a great place to buy it. This is a buy right now. Also, what we want to look on this pattern recognition is that we're only 6% above the pivot 15 days. So we're basically right above the buy zone. We could definitely buy this one here right now. This is looking very, very good. So my recommendation on MU, this one is viable right now. This one is available right now. So MU Micron is viable right now. So that's exciting. That's exciting. This is a good stock. I also kind of want to go through some fundamentals on it really quickly, but this is viable right now. And thank you very, very much. Thank you very much, Samuel, for bringing that up. This is a good stock. It's viable right now. And let's take a look just quickly at the fundamentals on this one. Look at this. We have very nice increases in sales. Look at that. Basically, for the last year, this has been going up, their sales over 30% a quarter, 30%, 35%, 37%, 33%. So that's looking very strong. But this is acting exactly how it should act. Look at their profits. Look at how much their profits are going up. Their sales are going up 30%. Their profits are going up 130%. So basically, for every dollar of sales, they get $4 worth of profit. Look at that. That is spectacular. This is a spectacular stock, and it has extremely strong cash flow, very low PE ratio considering this is in the semiconductor sector, 13. So this is going to be definitely favored by some of the funds. Let's look at who's in it. That's a key as well, is to see kind of what funds are in this. And look at that. We've got 2,714 funds. Just a lot of funds are in this one, looking very, very, very strong. And just every kind of fund, A plus, B, C, the whole thing. Vanguard's in there strong, T. Rowe Price. So this is a excellent stock to be looking at, and it's an excellent. It's excellent. It's at a buy point right now. So very, very good stock. Thank you very much for that, Samuel. Really appreciate that. It's a good time to buy Marvell. This is Marvell Technology, of course. This is a semiconductor stock, and Marvell has been doing very, very well. It's in a top sector. The semiconductor fabless area is one of the top areas. It's the number one area currently in the market. The question is it viable here? Well, what happened was it did come down and tested that 50-day line. It is extended right now, unfortunately. The correct place to buy this was at 6407. Of course, that was off of a flat base, third stage, and it's moved above that. So it is extended. As you can see, it's extended. I think it just went through earnings, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They're due 3-3. They're coming up. But I have to see kind of why there was such a big movement into the stock. Let's look at the technicals. So we're right at the 10-day line. That is good. We're 39% above the 200-day. That's excellent. We're 35% above that pivot. So that's looking good. the everything is good except for the earnings per share. Everything is looking very, very good. We have lots and lots of funds in it. We have 1,797 funds in it. Fidelity Contra Fund is in there. That is the good housekeeping seal of approval. Now, can you buy it at this level? I would not buy it at this level because currently this is extended. So I think it's a great stock. I think it's a great time to have it in your watch list. What I would do right now is this one, we've got to watch it. The reason you don't want to buy it at this level is because there is a chance that it will reverse lower. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm going to draw a line, and this is a reversal line, okay? And what I'm doing here is I want to make sure before I buy this that I'm buying it as it moves above this dotted line. So I would buy this if it moves above about 89.65. That's kind of where I would do it. We're a little bit short of that right now, so I think you just got to wait. Now, if it moves above this 89, right below 90, that's where you want to get in, because that means it's confirmed its reversal. Currently, the trend is down for Marvell, but if it moves above that trend line, above this little dotted line here, that's the reversal line, and it will be available for purchase. But I really appreciate that. That's a great stock. It's in a great area. It's got a very good It's got a good setup, but I think you want to wait for it to move above 90. I really do, because that's going to give you the best entry on it. All right. Quick question. What sectors do you invest in? Here's what I do. And part of the reason this helps me a lot in looking at the winners. What I do is I look to see where the market is going. I'm trying to see which sectors in the stock market are doing the very best. Now, right now, the best sector right now in the stock market is this semiconductor fabless. So you are absolutely right by looking at Marvell. That's right in there. So that's in the number one sector. The number two is oil and gas. Now, also what I look at, I don't just look at the rank now, I look at it what it was last week. Well, last week, semiconductor fabless was number one. So this week it's number one. So it hasn't moved up apart because it's already number one. But this is where I'm looking. Oil and gas, Canadian. Why? Because last week it was 26th in rank, and this week it's number two. So that's where we kind of want to do our fishing expedition. So I'm going to look at that really quick and see if there's anything in that group that I can particularly find. So let's look at the top stocks. There's a company called Vermilion Energy, which is 5.2% above its buy point, looking pretty good. Let's see. I don't know this one, and it's probably a fairly thin stock. But look at it, Vermilion Energy. There was a buy point here, 1207. Currently, it's at 1489. It's a little bit extended, but it has a strong checklist. Let's see if there's any other ones that are set up well. Let's look at Canadian National and see how it's just above the buy point on this one. This one probably is a better one. Double bottom pattern, very good pattern on this. 43.97 is the buy point here. We're just slightly above it. This is also a good one. So what I'm trying to show you here is that I'm always looking for the best sectors to invest in, because where you go fishing counts, and the best sectors that you go fishing in are going to give you the best results, right? So these are some of the things that I'm looking at. I'm looking at sectors in the economy that had a low rank but have come up. Now this is probably the sector that has moved up the most, and this is not surprising. Oil and gas, U.S. E&P. That's same as the Canadian, but this is the U.S. version of them. This one was 119 last week. It's now the number one. I think it's the number. Yeah, it was 119 last week. This is now, I believe, the 12th largest. So this is really moving up. There's some very good stocks in here. This is where I bought Oasis. But let's look at Whiting WLL. This is another one that I kind of really like. This one is sort of viable right now. Let's kind of look at it. This one right now at 76, but we're starting to see some very nice sales increases here. We've got a 99 relative strength. You can't get much better than that. We are right at pretty much the 3 week line, and we have an 89 checklist. Whiting Petroleum, WLL, looks like it may be viable. Let's see. Well, we're just slightly above the buy point. The buy point being the pivot, 71.10. We're at 76. So if this pulls back just a slightly back into this buy zone, this is a buy right now. So that's how I find the sectors that are doing the best. They're doing the best. Well, we're almost at an hour. I've got to go one more and one more. Let's look at from Jay. This one, a lot of people are going to ask about this one, and this is CrowdStrike. It has been a good chart. I realize that Oppenheimer gave it a good thing, but a lot of times, here's the thing, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist here, but many times you have these rating agencies like Oppenheimer that'll give something a good review, and then they will use that to push the stock up so they can get out of their positions. That's what I think probably is happening here with CrowdStrike. Let's take a look though. It's still in a good area. So CRWD, and of course software security has been a good area, but this stock is not a good chart. Let me just show you why I wouldn't buy this one. Now, maybe Oppenheimer will, but I think what Oppenheimer is trying to do here, unfortunately, Jay, is kind of pull a fast one. Let me show you why. Well, it looks as if we have what they call a death cross. Okay, what a death cross is the investment into this issue, into CrowdStrike, is moving down. Why do I know that? Because the 200-day average is flat, but the 50-day average is falling. That means people are selling this one. Okay, if you'll notice, we have it bouncing off of the 21-day line, but not in a good way. It's coming down and it's coming up, bounce, and then it's dead catting, and then bounce, and then bounce, and a lot of people are selling. So what do I think of this one? I think a lot of people are trying to get out of this one. This one possibly, and I don't know, I have to do a little bit more analysis on it, but I think CrowdStrike may be a good short. So I am totally opposite in my thinking from Oppenheimer. Now, they have a lot more money than me, they're a lot more famous than I am. But I tell you what, I don't think this is a good stock, at least not the chart. The chart is saying this isn't a good stock. So we may have a potential. This has got a 56 checklist. I wouldn't buy this. I typically will only buy a 67 or better. And so this is off its relative strength. It's failing on that. It's not being accumulated. As a matter of fact, it's being disaccumulated because it's got a D rating there. So that's not good. It's more than 15% below its all-time high. Not a good look there. And its earnings are off. So overall, even though this was a great stock up until about September, it's not been doing so much ever since. It's below the 200-day line. There's the death cross. So I would have to say, at least from my way, is Crowd. Buy it if you like, but I would say with CrowdStrike, CRWD, buy at your peril. Buy at your peril. The right now the stock does not look good, so I would be careful on this one. I would be super careful on this one. This is not a good chart. It doesn't matter what Oppenheimer says. I know that they're saying this. They're trying to pump it so they can dump it. This is a pump and dump. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you so very much for taking a look at my little show. By the way, if you're not already on the action trailers, please consider, because it is a good thing we have. It's free, and then we also have a Discord server. This is where I really go into depth the actual trading strategies, and we do that every day. Very excited to do that. We start basically, it's primarily 2 hours in the morning, but then I check in all during the day. It's also a great service that is available as well. But if you want to get more information on that, super easy to do. Just go to www.dallastradingfloor.com. I'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Tell your friends we need more people here, and hopefully we're gonna have a program to give away our beautiful Dallas Trading Floor mugs for people that help sign up more people to our Discord room. So that's where we're going. And thank you again for everything. And happy trading, everybody. I hope that everyone is doing well. Be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock to wrap up everything. And in the meantime, go to www.dow's trading floor and sign up for the Action Trade Alerts.